when it can't nobody hold me. We winning, yeah. We winning, yeah. We winning, can nobody hold me, yeah.
Story, man, that Waka Flocka is getting a lot of backlash for this right here. I'm gonna play this quick video with Waka, what he said, and then we're gonna talk about what he said and then the backlash that he's receiving.
I don't know who but it was that helped, but I understand y'all folk got y'all money and all that. But look, I got nothing against somebody's sexual preference. Nothing, but look, I ain't with that. So don't approach me, don't be having too many compliments and doing all the extra shit, because it's disrespectful, it's out of pocket. I'm with your local.
He with the local shooter, and I'm the shooter. Let's kill a nigga's soul from him like I was a dude.
All right, now, that right there, Waka is getting a lot, of heat. People in the comment section, all types of different articles coming out. One article reads, Waka Flocka threatens to shoot a person over his compliment. So, what do you think about this, though, Sam? You heard the video, you hear the backlash. Is it justified?
The backlash justified? Hell no. It's crazy. And it just shows you what kind of real dangerous society we live in today. Let me first off say this. Got no problem on who wants to sleep with whoever they want. None of my business. Do you. Don't care. Got family members who are homosexual. Got people that I know that are homosexual. Have no problem with any fucking body. But as a man or as a woman, either one, if you find yourself being attracted to a woman and you find yourself or being attracted to the man, whatever sexual preference you have, and you want to go against this, let me rephrase this. If you are a person that likes the same sex and you are going at a person who is heterosexual, you have every green light to get backlash 100%, because if you know they don't ride that way, if you know they don't do that, that's fucking, that's
yeah, to
the highest degree. That's fucking you're assaulting that dude or that lady. That's not cool. That's harassment.
Yeah.
How is it not?
Definitely.
And the fact that you could play this victim role so easily just because you're homosexual is fucked up.
You think he's homophobic? Because a lot of people move over there and say, well, look, because the fact that he says, well, stay away from me, and I know you had your money and all that, but would you consider him homophobic, from his video?
No, I think he's a real dude talking real shit, and that has no. Why you got to be homophobic to say that? Now he's not talking about like, all right, if a gay dude's walking around him, somebody homosexual is walking around him, he's not disgusted. But if somebody tried to slap his ass or say your ass was cute,
right,
knowing I got a woman and children, my mind may want to turn around and knock you the fuck out. Maybe.
Yeah.
That's as a natural reaction to somebody that's made him feel threatened in that situation. You got to have a respect level. Think what you want. I can't control what you think, but you can control your actions or what you throw out to me or what you may text to me or something like that. And I have every right to react how I want to react. Just like a woman has a right to react if some dude says something wild to her. If he don't get down with her, she has that right. If a man comes at me wrong, or even a woman comes at somebody wrong, we got the right to react how we want to react.
Yeah, you could be a woman who could be, a predator and, run down a guy and grab him or something. Maybe he doesn't want to be touched or vice versa. We always look at it like it has to be the man being an aggressor. No, there's women who also go after people and who are aggressive, who are predators as well. And men might not, for whatever reason, want to deal with that woman. That woman tries to take it to a whole nother level. You have to deal with that accordingly. Waka, again, I agree with you, man. I just think that, it's the way that we're probably raised similar to the way he was raised. You know what I mean? It's just something that, just wasn't our thing, man. We was just with women. That's what we did. We loved the women and we just loved the women. I mean, and we seen some homosexual people coming up. We didn't bash them. We didn't down them. We just didn't practice that. And if they ever tried to come at us with that, to try to force that on us, it will be a serious problem. It just would be, because it's an uncomfortable, situation. To be like, it just is, man.
You can't be put in that, especially if you don't want to be put in that situation.
Right.
It's not cool. It wouldn't be cool for us to go out here and aggressively pursue a woman who's in a relationship, who tells us no, who we know is off limits. We'd be 100% wrong, be deemed as wrong, be a predator if somebody would have found out we were going ahead and being real offensive in that situation. Why should the roles reverse because of sexuality? Why should it change? Because now, And it is what it is, because we're really just putting so much attention on emphasis on who people sleep with. Imagine if we say, yo, I'm going to make an announcement today. I'm black. And people just lost their fucking mind about it. And then we got put in this box where we got all these rights and things like that. Who cares?
Right.
Obviously, we know you're black. So what? Obviously, we know if you're homosexual, you do. Who cares? Why do you deserve all these rights? And I'm not saying if you want to get married, get married. If you want to do this, do this. Do whatever you want.
All right.
But when you sit back and you get to play victim every time somebody has opposition of what you may practice, or say, nah, that's not what I do, I'm wrong. Come on, man.
Yeah. And then, again, it's a lot of people, throwing that word around and calling Waka, whatever they're calling them. Again, if you want to practice that lifestyle, that's your thing. I have no problem against that. Your communities and whatnot. That's what you guys, continue to do. You fought for your rights, but I think forcing anything, I'm just against anything being forced on anybody without their consent.
That's a fact. Religion,
across the board.
sexuality,
Yeah, definitely.
whatever.
Definitely. So, I'm going to leave your comments in the comment section. Don't be too graphic here on YouTube.
Yeah,
They're sensitive as hell with that type of stuff. So kind of just watch that. But, anywhere else, y'all can definitely get it in. You know what I mean? Definitely.
Indeed.
Yes, sir. But you're tuning into the Hip Hop Uncensored podcast with your brother, Old God, and Sam. And that's all I got over here. I think you got a couple or one over there, right?
Yeah, I got one for you. I wanted to ask you a question. So
No doubt.
a couple weeks ago, maybe a month ago, you were out with some good people, went to see the comedy show, man.
Yeah.
DL Hughley. Now, we've been talking about comedians a lot on the podcast, something we like to do, real into the comedy game. We're going to talk about DL, somebody that we talked about on the podcast often. First off, how was the show? And where do you put him in your top list? We've talked about top comedians often, and DL usually doesn't.
But he was in the
that
King comedy
conversation.
joints, wasn't he, back then?
He was in the original Kings of Comedy. That's correct.
Yeah, I mean, I think, then, yeah. But now, I like DL. I don't have nothing against DL. I went to go see him. I thought it was a good show. I'll be honest. I think that it was the guy before him did an excellent job. I forget the brother's name, but he did a real excellent job. DL, I think is, kind of one of those guys who is not beyond his years, but it's kind of getting a little watered down and washed up as far as with the comedy game. I mean, I got to be real with that. Even though he put on a great show, but for that reason, I don't think I could put him in the top anymore. Like back then with the King of Comedies, those guys, yeah. But I think now you got a whole nother breed pedigree of guys that are way funnier, in my opinion.
I've always watched DL, and I've always appreciated his comedy, but I've never put him in the ranks of my top comedians because it's always seemed as though he's very intellectual. So he'll always tell that intellectual line, which I like. I like my comedians to tell me a story and make me laugh on some real shit. So he does a great job at that, but it almost seems as like, man, who's pulling your strings, man?
Mm-hmm. Damn.
Who's pulling your strings for real? Because you're very outspoken, and now if you watch him on Instagram, it's very pro-black for what it may look like. Maybe race bait, maybe pro-black, who knows? We'll let us sit down to him and talk, but he doesn't talk to us, talk to other people.
Yeah, you run to
It is what it is. That's no hate. It's
just facts.
It's just real shit.
Right.
But
he talked to any. Never mind.
Maybe. I mean, he has his own show and he has people on there. So I mean, not going to discredit him just because he doesn't talk to us. But that is what it is. DL though, man, it just seems like now when you look at him, it always seems as though he gets amped up around the political race season. Anytime we got nominations coming around, anytime this or that, DL gets turned up. We see the shows on CNN. We see the pro-black speech. We see the statistics of how many this and that and all this. And it's just like, man, I don't know. I just wish we would just get some genuine stuff, because then when it comes down to some nitty gritty, you'll say something completely left and they'll go, see?
Yeah.
That's Black voice. Totally. It's like, whoa, no, don't fucking hate.
Yeah. And, we're not always going to agree with everybody, but I think that, in my opinion, some of these guys who try to represent Black folks as a whole don't represent Black folks as a whole. I don't know who the hell they're talking for. And because it's like, you got to be consistent. And like you said, some of these guys, they'll be giving it to you, and then you need an issue. You really need these guys to stand up. They'll be silent as a church mouse, or they'll go completely against, whatever, we should be going with. You know what I'm saying? Just like it's blatantly obvious, and you'll see them say, well, nah, he did it to himself or some shit like that. And he's like, well, damn, DL, like, who's paying you, dog?
Yeah, man, it does seem like that.
But, again, maybe, we're going a little too far with that, but I don't give a damn. This is our podcast. We can do that. Shit.
Hell yeah. Let me transition real quick on comedy. It's a little off the script, but Eddie Griffin. Think of Eddie Griffin often, but when we talk about top comedians, he's not often thrown into there, even though he's one of the top comedians of all time, one of our favorite comedians. But he reminds me of like almost like a cat, to where their comedy is untouched, and motherfuckers don't want to get in a ring with them two comedians when it comes to being funny, because they can go blow for blow with the best of them.
Right.
But they don't get the credit they deserve.
Right.
They don't get thrown into those top tier names in this own.